build this whole story for ourselves. And then, you know, like Joe said, it never stops.
At what point in their education, I don't mind excluding you in the conversation for a moment, so at what point does it become, you give them the basic, and you hope that something clicks.
Right.
So when does that occur? When did it occur for you guys? When did it suddenly happen? When did it say, whoa, you know, this is something I want to do?
Probably at the beginning of my junior year. I was moving away from more non-mentor related research, and I moved into the lab where I work at the College of Staten Island. And I began to see, and because I was taking physics that year and AP Math, I was starting to see things in a much deeper sense. And I think that really clicked for me that this is what I want to do with all of my time, practically, and as much time as I can spend here, and as much as I can read more about it and understand it more, the happier I'll be. And that's probably when it clicked. I mean, that's when it clicked for me. But I've always loved the sciences. But I think that's when I saw that I would like to pursue this as a life career.
I get the feeling that both of you are, there's more to both of you than meets the eye. I take it that you are well-rounded in other areas. Would you share with me some of those other areas? I mean, just so that I get a sense for, you know, is it the child that, and they're not children, but is it the child that likes to play the piano or something, or work in painting? Is it that child that is excelling in other areas as well?
I have, you know, I have a philosophy about this, and I always talk about this in class. Would you like to say that?
It's your philosophy. It's your philosophy.
I always tell them, expert in one area are experts in many areas, because I don't think it's particularly science. If you take anybody who has excelled in a field, you will notice that they have excelled in many other fields. It might not have come out, it might not have been displayed in their life, but it's very hard to find someone who has, for example, a scientist who has interest only in science and that area of science. They will definitely be interested in music. They would definitely have interest in sport. Because it all comes down to the way of learning. It's not learning the subject, but it's how you learn something. And I also want to make a point about the previous comment that you were discussing about. When students like Irina and Joe start identifying that in their high school years, okay, I really want to run with this kind of a research topic now. It's actually started in them in elementary school.
Yes.
You know, they don't know it, we don't know it, but it starts at a very early age. And when I taught in middle school, and some of the students from middle school I've taught them here at Tech, as you know, they're graduating this year, many of them. The love for science has always been there, but I think it takes that many years for that process to mature in them. You know, you're absorbing information from various aspects. There's math coming in, there's science coming in, there's history coming in, there's literature coming in, there's music coming in, there's sports coming in. And again, it's all a very multifaceted development that occurs in us. It can't be just, oh, this love for science just came in me. It's been there, and it is fed, it is nurtured by so many other aspects.
Yes,
so many other aspects.
But I think we should add in is that the teacher in the front of the classroom is the one that's also developing.
Very true. Very true.
If you have someone who's not expressing themselves as you are right now greatly, you're going to have a totally different attitude. I remember in high school, and it always comes to mind, it was a physics class that I was in, and you know, they would do experiments, and I remember what it was. It was dealing with light, and he was passing light to a beaker. And then he says, just watch, and on occasion we put a drop of some sort of liquid within, okay, and all of a sudden the room turned into a setting sun, the brilliance and the colors of a setting sun, and I says, wow, that's actually happening, that's pretty wild.
Right.
What does that? What makes that, I said. Okay, and that sparked in me a following through. That was the idea in that. I find science to be extremely interesting. Again, we live around. We got a couple of minutes to this program. We live with science every day.
Absolutely.
Every day. Give me some advice here. Is it difficult to learn chemistry?
A little bit.
Yes, okay.
I mean, with anything, it's difficult, but it's a good thing because it makes you want to work that much harder, and it makes you want to understand it that much more. And when you finally do understand it,
Yes.
you feel so accomplished.
Right.
And then you realize that there's about 1 million other things that you don't get,
Sure.
but you keep working at it, and
know,
you just hope that you have enough lifetimes to learn it all.
Yeah, and it's never ending, is it? It's never ending.
Richard Bach wrote in his little book, Illusions. He was also the author of Jonathan Livingston Seagull, which is, I talk about this to the kids all the time. We are all Jonathan Livingston Seagulls, and we have to recognize that in us. And Richard Bach wrote in his book, Illusions, an easy life does not teach us anything. In the
True.
end, what matters is what we learn.
True.
And something is good, it never comes easy. So any subject, just not
Yeah.
chemistry. and science is a way of life. It's not, I don't
Science
look at it
science
as a subject.
is
it's your way
daily.
of life.
Science is daily, and I'm looking forward for these students and others like them to develop the cure for cancer.
Absolutely, absolutely.
To extend my life by any means at this point, because, you know, I probably have some room in my chest for other devices, but any means would be fine. And I think that if I were to be able to come back, and I believe that we can come back, I'd like to come back about 200 years from now and see just how well we've developed.
They might have developed the time machine by then.
That's for sure. I want to thank all of you. I think it was a very interesting evening.
Thank you.
Okay, I want to wish all of you luck. Okay,
Thank you very much.
in the future. Okay, this is Frank Mazur saying thank you and to keep in focus.